Hey everyone, welcome to Redmen TV and this week's Transfer Podcast. I'm Steve Ho, joined by Dan and by Ian Young this week, and yet more Liverpool transfer rumours to discuss. Very midfield / attacking midfield heavy in this show, that is for certain. We've got Bouaddi and Gilberto Mora to come, but first we are going to dive straight into it, gents, with Eduardo Camavinga. And Ian, I'll start with you. According to some reports in Spain, Jose Mourinho has decided that he isn't having Eduardo Camavinga. He's not for him, he's for sale. He decided to keep Tchouaméni instead, offer him a new contract, and now Camavinga is available, and both Liverpool and Man City are interested in taking him. What are your initial thoughts?
One of the things we lacked last season was physicality, and someone who could get stuck in and win the ball. That's something Camavinga brings in droves. The only slight concern is he's not got the best injury record, and Liverpool in general, when they sign somebody, the injury record doesn't improve. So that's a slight concern for me. But if you just talk about the player, I think he's everything Liverpool needs to sign in midfield.
Suppose, Dan, like there's loads to come on this one. There's loads of ifs, buts and maybes, of course. No one's sat here saying Liverpool are going to sign Camavinga. That's not what we're doing. We're just discussing the report. It feels like it isn't beyond the realms of possibility that Jose Mourinho just goes into a football club and isn't having a lad. He's been there, done that before. Most clubs he goes into, he's very steadfast in who he likes or who he doesn't like. There's a world where if the player is available, Madrid are doing bits already, they've signed a few players and stuff like that, then he is available. I would be shocked if Liverpool weren't at least interested in this one. So if it's true that he is going to be allowed to leave Real Madrid, it'd have been more surprising if Liverpool wasn't even having a little look at it.
Yeah, I would say so, yeah, especially given what Ian just outlined there. And it's clear for everyone to see what Liverpool lacked last season, certainly in the midfield department. And Camavinga ticks a lot of those boxes. And let's be honest, there aren't many sort of ready-made plug-and-play midfielders out there. They could do what Liverpool are crying out for, and Camavinga probably is one of those. So yeah, Liverpool absolutely should be at the table. They should be running towards the table, to be honest, if indeed this is the case and there is a potential opportunity to get him out of Real Madrid, because he's a top-quality player. Ian's right on the injury front, and that would probably only sort of get heightened in the Premier League in the way that Iriola wants him, our lads, to play as well, you would imagine. But still, he played 200 odd games for Real Madrid so far, 40 odd games last season. So whilst he has had problems, he hasn't been without issues along the way fitness wise. He's still got a vast amount of football behind him. I think he's 23. So yeah, really like this one. High quality operator, wouldn't cost the earth either. And again, I think he improves us overnight, because we're going to talk about somebody a bit later on, two lads later on, who are sort of good now, but realistically are ones for the future, whereas Camavinga does come in and instantly Liverpool have a better squad for having him. So yeah, lots to like about this one. As you say, if this was even a remote possibility, Liverpool should be all over it.
Yeah, I think the injury thing, for what it's worth, and I had a little look on my news show earlier, very rarely been muscle injuries. A lot of it was like, he done his ankle a couple of times, he done his knee. He did have a bad hamstring injury a couple of seasons ago that kept him out for a long time. I mean, I think he had wisdom teeth surgery at one point. It's one of those mad ones. That would happen at Liverpool, by the way. We would definitely lose a lad to toothache fights. Just as we were about to play City away, probably. Mo Salah would be at AFCON and someone would be having the teeth out, although no Mo Salah, of course, Ian. The fee, for what it's worth, again, it was in Spanish reports, but it didn't seem that high, all told, considering some of the mad fees that are being asked here. We've heard loads about these opportunistic Liverpool signings. I doubt anyone at Liverpool would have been going into the summer. And again, I might be wrong thinking we're definitely going to go all in for Eduardo Camavinga, but Madrid have changed their manager, they've had the elections, Mourinho's come in, he's decided this could be the perfect opportunistic signing. A top quality player, fully fledged international, one of the few players out there really who could make Liverpool really much better. And it could almost like open a door, land on your plate. This feels like the type of thing that the opportunistic thing was kind of made for. Yeah,
Mourinho, when he goes into a club, like you said before, he normally likes to make an example of somebody and go, see you later. I thought it'd be Trent, to be honest with you. But Camavinga could be that person. When you're looking at the prices I've been told for the likes of the players we're talking like Bouaddi, and they're like 80 and 90 million pounds to get someone. I think it probably between 60 and 70, 23 years of age, full international, the games he's played, the trophies he's won. I wouldn't go as far to say it was a bargain, but he's definitely worth the money.
I suppose, well, Dan, what we have spoken about a little bit this year as well is Liverpool needs so many options and so many players. You can't do it all in one window. Liverpool aren't going to go. Liverpool probably need like 8 players all told at some point in the next couple of windows. They're not going to do it all in one. By signing versatile players, that helps you a little bit in these guys. It's never ideal because you never want the same player being covered for 2 or 3 places. But Camavinga's rather ability to play a full-back, particularly left-back in particular, and up to a few different roles in the midfield, that does make him perhaps a bit more of a valuable asset to someone like Areola, where, listen, at this moment in time, we're expecting, or it looks like maybe Kostas Tsimikas is your rotational left-back option behind Milos Kerkez. Like, if you could get Camavinga in, and he can do bits in midfield, and he can play full-back, Curtis Jones-esque maybe from last season, or like, I know you don't really want midfielders there, but he is a better version of that. That only ticks a few extra boxes as well, I suppose.
Yeah, it does. And Liverpool, we found ourselves, Ian sort of alluded to it, we found ourselves needing to lean into the versatility of footballers all too often, if truth be told. But no, absolutely, you can't help but look at that as another sort of tick against Camavinga's name, the fact he's able and capable and he's done it at the top level of playing at left back. And it was only reported last week by Paul Gorst that Liverpool potentially would be open to the possibility of Kostas Tsimikas moving on a permanent basis, which again lends itself to needing more options at left back. There's a lot of youngsters in and around that conversation, but yeah, adding someone of the class and sort of the experience of Camavinga plus his versatility, and again plus just the general calibre of the type of transfer we're talking about. He's above and beyond anyone I think we've been linked to in the midfield so far, properly anyway. I really like Adam Morton have made that known. Bouaddi, there's tons of potential there, but again, I said it earlier on, in terms of lads who can come in and day one improve Liverpool in the midfield especially, there aren't many knocking about. I think Camavinga probably is just about one of them.
I suppose, well, Ian, like, again, if you just Liverpool's midfield on last year, you could say everyone's up for sale except maybe Szoboszlai. Like, no one covered themselves in glory. There's a reason there's a new manager in place, because he'll be expected to get these lads playing better. In theory, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Jones, Vert maybe in those roles as well. Like, it should be elite players that you sign them. If you're going to buy someone, you want to buy someone better who gets in, who or is of the same level at least as those players. With all due respect, like, there's no point just buying a lad to come and sit on the bench. You really want to go high. And the problem looking around Europe at the moment is now, especially in midfield, there are a few. And you're looking at maybe, could Liverpool get themselves in the mix for Bruno Guimaraes, for example, and try and do something there with Arsenal's interest. Fernandes was a good young player. He's gone to Spurs. Tonali, good player, gone to Spurs. Man United are signing Santos from Chelsea, again, a bit of an unknown. It doesn't feel like there are like tons and tons of like lads you go and buy him, he's available, and he'll just walk into Liverpool's team. Whereas actually Camavinga might not walk in the team, but he's certainly have the ability to challenge those lads for the place.
If we signed him tomorrow, I'd be expecting him to start against Newcastle. Yeah. That'd be it for me. He's the problem that Liverpool have got now is over the last few seasons we've been looking to fill out a squad. Now we're not. We're looking, apart from probably our number 9 Isak, you're not looking for someone to sit behind him.
You mean upgrades?
Yeah, we're looking for upgrades, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for people to come in and make Liverpool better, not to make the squad bigger, not to flesh out the squad. We need people to come in who are going to be our starters and play 90% of games.
Yeah, that's right. And, I think we need both actually for its worth, but sort of at the detriment of one or two of the lads in midfield. Maybe Curtis Jones, that conversation, you won't like hearing that, given the fact that he sort of maybe, casting glances elsewhere and itchy feet a little bit because of the game time or the limited game time and opportunities that he think he's had. But by sort of a byproduct of bringing in someone like Camavinga, that means that maybe McAllister does suddenly become in rotation. But you're right, whether he starts first game of the season or not is a slightly different conversation. But as you've said, Steve, he's definitely a senior lad in that midfield straight away, no questions asked. Like, he is of the level to come in and be part of the rotation, whereas a couple of the others you have reservations about. I would anyway, but I think profile-wise, potentially price point-wise, if it becomes an opportunity and Liverpool are serious about the interest, I would love to see Liverpool make something happen.
Also for me, so when I've watched Camavinga, he's somebody that grabs the game by the scruff of the neck. He's a bit of a leader, and that was something else that I thought we were massively lacking last season, was leadership.
Absolutely.
He does, he backs himself, which is, he should do. He's a very good player. Like I say, these are early reports coming out of Spain. We'll wait and see. It won't just be Liverpool interested. Now, if Eduardo Camavinga, Dan, to wrap up, if it is widely known, if Real Madrid put the for sale sign on him, I mean, City's name was linked already. Man United would be on the phone straight away. Liverpool, you could see what Arsenal are getting done. Is he an option instead of what they're after now? You'd imagine half of Europe would be interested in this conversation. It's one of those things where I will be questioning why Real Madrid are selling him, and it might just be Mourinho. But again, it's not just going to be all right. He's so Liverpool are going to get him. It wouldn't be like it could cost a bit, and you're going to have to battle 5, 6, 7 top teams to get him.
Yeah, that's almost inevitable, isn't it? But again, that comes with the territory of trying to sign elite players, doesn't it? You don't want a straight run at them necessarily, because it means that maybe why are you having it so easy? And I think it probably is just the Mourinho factor at Real. He probably is coming in, stamping his authority on the squad and letting everybody know that he's back in town, and
the boss.
Yeah, things aren't going to fly like they were 2-3 months ago. So yeah, I don't really have many concerns around potentially Real Madrid allowing him to leave. Their squad's also so stacked, and they're doing a lot of business in other areas as well. So somebody kind of has to go. I would imagine if it's him, and Liverpool managed to capitalise on it, then I'm all for it. Yeah, but no, it's not going to be straightforward. But Liverpool might be somewhat fortuitous in the timing of all of this, because a lot of the other midfield moves could have happened by the time this one really becomes a distinct possibility. Manu Kone seemingly getting bandied around again. Obviously, there's a couple others too, and you mentioned Santos United and Ederson United. That's kind of on stall a little bit, but hopefully lots of teams have done their business, and we're just left sort of waiting in a bit of a holding pattern for the midfield, and that's just the right time when Camavinga happens. So yeah, let's keep our fingers crossed.
Yeah, like I say, we'll keep an eye on that one, of course, over the next few days, see if he is for sale and if Liverpool decide to enter the market. If he is, let's move on to our second story then. According to reports, I'll come to you on this one then, Ian, Liverpool are reportedly happy to make a deal for Ayyoub Bouaddi from Lille, with the caveat that they are willing now to let him stay on loan there for the year. Similar to the deal they did with Georgi Mamardashvili and Valencia, similar I suppose in a way to Jeremy Jacquet, albeit for a full season rather than half a season. Apparently, Lille don't want to sell him, but they're willing to accept that they might not want him go, but they would like to have him for one more year. He's only a young kid. So how would you feel if Liverpool tied up a deal for Ayyoub Bouaddi this week or next week or whatever, and with the caveat that Naby Keita-esque, he's going to have a year extra and then come the following year?
A bit torn, because I think he could do a job for us now. I think he's really, really good. He was one of the players I was excited to see during the World Cup, and he's even better than what I thought he would be. For an 18-year-old kid, he's strong. I love his pick and pass. His picking of the passes is like 99%. He's really, really good at that area. So if we were to sign him, and he wasn't coming this year, I'd be made up we signed him, but I'd be a little bit gutted we're not getting him in this season. I
suppose, Dan, if Leo's saying, listen, you can have him, but this is the only caveat to doing it. Liverpool have shown a willingness to do this before. And for what it's worth, like he has had a good World Cup, he didn't have a particularly great day yesterday, and there's clearly more development to come. Yeah. There's no shame in getting outworked by the France midfield. like, don't worry about that. I suppose, though, Dan, you get to a point where you have to say, we think he's that good and we want him, and if this is the only way we can get him, then you're begrudgingly willing to accept it. But like Ian says, in that instance, if it eats into your budgets and stuff, you have to do a little bit of wheel and deal. And does that mean Curtis stays an extra year and you just let him go for nothing? Does it mean Alexis is available and staying for another year or whatever? There are a load of caveats there, but ultimately, if Liverpool think he's the business, this is the type of deal they have done before. Yeah,
there is previous for it. Liverpool have definitely set a precedent to be open to the possibility of a deal of this sort of structure and nature. And for what it's worth, I'm okay with it. I see your point, Ian. I think he could help from this season onwards. I do believe that to be true because he is that good. In terms of, we spoke a minute ago obviously a lot about Camavinga. I think he's more Premier League, Champions League ready for Liverpool right now. I'm not entirely sure that's the case for Bouaddi. He's a top player, reads the game really, really well. Lovely on the ball. You mentioned his passing and his choice there, and his passing range is exceptional. Scans nicely, anticipates things. Lots to like about the player. But I would be comfortable with him continuing to develop, I should say, on somebody else's watch. Whilst Liverpool need to improve here and now. I think future-proofing the midfield in the same way we did with the goalkeeper, I don't hate it. And again, if it means you've secured one of Europe's top talents for the long term, whilst also not getting him immediately, I'm okay with that. If that is the only way you're going to get the deal done, because Arsenal and whoever else will be open to that as well. We won't be the only ones in this race. We spoke a minute ago again about Camavinga. Man City would probably be comfortable with that. Arsenal likewise. PSG definitely is the sort of thing they would definitely do. So yeah, Liverpool should be entertaining the prospect of that type of deal if it means that we get the player in the future. And
I suppose as well, like we got who's the rapper says we shouldn't be spending big money on anyone who isn't playing the season. We're desperate for players now, and this is the point. But like I don't think budgets are like just like set in stone. You know, if you just take out the next year's budget, doesn't mean you can't spend the money this year, you know, because in theory you can do a deal where you just buy him next year. Like there's accounting ways around the PSR stuff. Just by committing to that next year doesn't mean you're going to forego this year. We don't know yet if Liverpool are in for a midfielder this summer. There's been very few links, really. You know, we've spoke about Camavinga and Bouaddi now, but they're all like more tentative. The only real links we've heard in are attackers. Like, it doesn't mean like you're just cutting your nose off or you have to do something down the line. It's all fluid. You've got to be like, if you think he is absolutely amazing and the next superstar of the world, you can wait a year. Like and if he's as good as promised in a year's time, then don't worry about it. Like, yeah, this season you'll get through and you've got what you've got. And Liverpool's midfield isn't shit. Like, it played shit last year.
Underperformed.
Well, it played shit, but like, so did everyone. Like, the whole team played pretty shit. Like, the goalkeepers weren't great. Everyone was a bit shit. If you're hoping the new manager comes in and makes a bit of an improvement, therefore, you can go, you know what, actually, if we have to get by with the same midfield for now, not ideal, not amazing, but on the back end, you get a player who you think could be the next superstar of world football. I suppose you have to at least consider that as an option.
But the midfield just needs to be more mobile. I think Ariola's training may be slightly different from Slot's. So maybe all these links with wingers and stuff doesn't work for me if we don't sort our midfield out. Because the wingers are just going to bomb on, our midfielders aren't going to be able to cope. So we need to be able to bring in midfielders who are going to be able to cover them spaces and do what they need to do. Bouaddi has done that for me in the summer. I think he really has. Camavinga would do it. Also, the thing is, we're talking about Camavinga. I think him and Bouaddi in the midfield would be absolutely fantastic. So we could get both of them. That'd be brilliant. So we have to wait, like Dan said, a season to get him in. Do it.
Yeah, so I suppose, Dan, like I say, to go back to the point and answer one of the comments that was made before, is that how would you feel if Liverpool had this exact same midfield again? So Curtis stays, whether he does or doesn't sign a contract, we can kind of park that for now.
Yeah.
Do you think last year? Do you think are they shit, or was it just a team that their heads are gone, maybe their legs are gone in terms of they were just a bit fatigued, the training methods, all that kind of stuff. The head coaches was sacked, so someone somewhere thought he was doing a bad job. Is there a world where you keep the exact same 5 or 6 again and you get better improvements out of it next year, or do you think there's too many there? Are you really unsure on that regard?
There's no two ways about it. You can absolutely get more out of the existing lads. Like, they can 100% go again and improve, and that's on an individual and a collective basis. I think Liverpool's midfield can function in a better way. I think Iriola's training methods, I think just the way Iriola's managed to extract every last drop out of footballers up until this point in his career and improve them along the way as well will absolutely mean that we get a better tune out of the entire department. However, Liverpool's midfield has been lacking a certain profile of midfielder for a couple of years now. Wataru Endo can do a similar sort of job to the profile I'm referring to, but in reality doesn't seem like he's going to be doing that on a regular basis. I wouldn't have thought. There's a couple of young lads, Stefan Pachetis, Jason McConnell, who enter that conversation but probably aren't quite at the level. They both had injury problems as well, so that is a spanner in the works there. So I wouldn't be comfortable personally Liverpool going into the season with the same midfield. I think it can do a job, but I don't want Liverpool's midfield just to do a job. I want Liverpool's midfield to win midfield battles. I want Liverpool's midfield to dictate games of football and win us games of football. I don't quite think it's got the makeup and the right blend to do that. Ian's right to highlight the lack of legs and mobility and the physicality that was severely lacking last season. You need a bit of that dropped in. But more than anything, I just think it needs freshening up. I think a couple need to kick up the arse. I think the best way to get McAllister going again might be somebody behind him saying, because he never really had that last season. No. For whatever reason, Arne Slot just kept picking him. And it was clear to see that he was lacking form, confidence, fitness, etc., etc. And yet he played almost every week. A lad coming in, shaking things up a little bit and saying, like, I'm the new kid in town. I'm going to be the starting midfielder alongside Szoboszlai, whoever else. Watch yourselves. Liverpool's midfield needs something this summer for me. Absolutely. As a must. The wingers a necessity, of course, I'm not stupid. But behind that, in terms of priorities, midfield is BI second. Yeah,
if you going with the same midfield, for me, is as big a risk as spending £150 million on a midfielder. We can't go with that risk. We can't do it. I think especially with the money we're spending as well. Yeah. I mean, think of the money we spent last year. If we don't make the right signings and we, worst case now, fail to qualify for the Champions League this season, where does that put us in the PSR?
I like all the current midfielders for a variety of reasons, what they've done for Liverpool in the past, some of them what they did last season to a certain extent, obviously to a lesser degree, but with Szoboszlai that is definitely the case. So I'm not advocating for them all to be bombed out and sell him. They might be open to offers on a couple, and that's fine. The Curtis Jones situation is obviously really complicated right now. But for me, it just needs something. It needs an injection of something, whether that be youth, mobility, bit more steel, whatever. I think it's crying out for something. I think the current iteration of the Liverpool midfield, I think we are battling for. We had a brief conversation about this yesterday upstairs, actually, sort of top 4/5 again. And if we're comfortable with that, I might maybe go with that. But if we want to be competing with Arsenal to win the Premier League again, or Champions League and PSG, whatever, it needs something for me.
Cool. Yeah, let us know your thoughts then, guys, in the live chat. If you're watching live now, of course, if you're watching after the fact, we've got a comment section, we've got social media. Would love to hear from you. Last story we're going to talk about then is 17-year-old Gilberto Mora. Just played, of course, in the World Cup for Mexico. And according to reports from his native Mexico, Liverpool have approached his club about a deal for the 17-year-old. For what it's worth, I think I'm not insane, he couldn't join anyway until he's 18. He turns 18 in October, so this will be another one, by the way, where you're looking at January at the earliest before you got him in. He's at Tijuana, isn't he, at this moment in time? Same thing, I suppose. I mean, same question applies, really, Ian. Like, this wouldn't be one for the right away right now, but it could be January, as opposed to a year out the way. I suppose he's clearly talented. You know, he's done well at the World Cup. I mean, he's absolutely tiny for a start. Would you be interested in Liverpool doing a deal that could see potentially Mora join them further down the line, whether it be January or next summer?
I'd be well up for it, especially with the amount of money that's been told around 20 million. It's hardly a risk, is it? Let's be honest. And I've been crying out, like, we've been getting linked with £100 million players here and there, and I miss the days of Liverpool making smart signings, like getting a player who's maybe 30 million and turn him into an 80 million, 90 million pound player. I don't think more does that, because I already think he very, very good. I think if you're getting him for 20 million pounds, I think you're already getting a bargain there. I'd be all over it. There's very little risk for me, I think, in that signing.
I suppose, Dan, like I say, he's played 50-odd games already at club level. He's just played in a World Cup, despite being very young. There's more to come, certainly down the line as well. Liverpool appears have gone into the South American market a few times for young players. Is it Martinez then in for the
Samuel Martinez, he's going to be
he's playing for Liverpool, so it's not the first time that he've done this kind of thing before, and he could do it again. This could be the type of thing that Ian says, really. The transfer market is wild now, and the ability, because I see Ian's point of like these little clever, smart signings, unless there's release clauses in contracts, a la Victor Munoz, it's hard to be clever, because there's too much money. Everyone knows everyone. Every scout is using the same date. They're all using the same things. The only way you're going to be able to potentially do these things now is go to other markets. Maybe you can be the team who goes into the South American market and picks up a young lad and takes those risks. And if you sign 3 or 4 of them and one works out, then you get yourself an £80 million player down the line, because it's hard to be clever in this market, because football has never been so global in terms of everyone knows everyone about everything. And the money's ridiculous. You know, Bournemouth can go and spend 60, 70 million pounds on players now. The day's gone by where you can just be these little 20 millions perhaps.
No, I don't think that exists anymore, really. Not at senior level, anyway, which is why probably Liverpool do need to, and have done, to be fair to them, have sort of readjusted their thinking when it comes to the transfer approach. And just generally at academy level, they've been really aggressive in recruiting recently. Past few years have been odd ones here and there. Obviously, Ben Doak come down from Celtic, for example. Trainioni come from Leicester. Obviously, Rio himself from Marvinello. But now they've spread their wings a little bit further. I think it's fair to say this is the latest example of links to that happening, at least. More talent arrived in January. Gilberto Mora looks an extremely exciting prospect, as you mentioned, 50-odd games at senior level domestically already. I think it's 10 caps for Mexico, maybe even 12. Can't quite remember off the top of my head. So, yeah, hell of a lot to like. And Mexico are no mugs either, let's be honest. He's not just playing international football for the sake of it. Like, they're a proper side, proper outfit. So, yeah, it feels really exciting, this one. I think you're right. I think Liverpool are also playing the odds a little bit, because Samuel Martinez, the Colombian lad who's already agreed to join, is also an attack midfielder 10. So all of a sudden we might have 2, maybe even 3 sort of stockpiling them a touch, because Eric Farkas is already at the club who plays in the same position. So Liverpool are looking at it going, well, if one of them emerges and becomes first team ready and a superstar potentially, happy days. The other 2, to your point about the low risk of the fee, you can probably spin for double the money at some point anyway. So yeah, I like this approach in Liverpool. I've been crying out for Liverpool to go direct to source for a while. I just got frustrated with them coming to Brighton and us having to spend $100 million to get him in.
That's what I was thinking about the whole time, Brighton.
Honestly, like, so, Bournemouth have done it with Ryan. seemingly well. He's going to be a superstar fee at some point. So, yeah, I'm all for this. I think Liverpool should have been doing this for a little while now, but it's good to see that they're finally tapping in.
I know he's young, and I get it, Ian, but he is absolutely tiny. Like, he is absolutely tiny. Again, he of course, like, I don't know if he's going to grow too much tall now. I don't think he's suddenly going to have a massive growth spurt at age 18 and put another foot on, he might. But, like, in a world where we're talking about the Premier League, getting as physical as ever, signing a 5'6" midfielder, attacking midfielder, I mean, that is on the borderline of like, are we sure? You know what I mean? Like you have to talk about it. I know it's really, really basic, but like, look what the Premier League just was. And I know FIFA and whoever are trying to introduce rules to get it a bit away from that with like the less time for the throw-ins and taking the piss on corners and stuff like that. And hopefully they're going to rule out the rugby games at corner kicks. But still, that is something you have to consider. I wonder, are Liverpool thinking, and under Areola, we're going to go away from the norm of, because you mentioned before, Liverpool need big, aggressive athletes. As good as Gilberto Mora is, rather, he's not that.
No, he's not. But it's an exceptional circumstance in a 5'6" player in there. I mean,
but I think so.
He's got everything else.
But he's got to be boss.
Yeah,
you can accommodate as long as he's up the level.
He's got to be amazing. Like, you've got to accept the fact.
Lionel Messi's not 6'1", but he's done all right.
Yeah, that's like. But like, listen,
you've got to be absolutely. You've got to be special. Yeah. You're absolutely spot on. Yeah, and we've got a little bit of that going on for Florian Wirtz, and I know he didn't live up to expectations last season. I'm aware of that. No one did, granted, no. But he's one I'm looking at, and hopefully with a bit of Areola magic on him and a bit of Klopp magic on him at international level too, we can see his true colours, because I think he's a world-class footballer. And he's also not 6 foot. You know what I mean? He's quite slight. Because he's so good, he manages to get away with it. You're looking at someone like Mora, and granted, I'm not comparing him to these players at all, but you want him, you need him to become so good that his height and physicality is almost irrelevant.
I think there's potential to be there, to be that good. His close control and how he moves the ball from one foot to the other is really, really good. He's got a really good low sense of gravity. Yeah. And like Bouaddi, his pick of passes, absolutely exceptional. Yeah, he really, it's a real talent. Would it be a risk signing a 5'6" player? Definitely, but it's one I hope Liverpool are willing to take.
Absolutely. We'll see how Liverpool going with that one. Just to wrap it up then, guys, no specific names here, but like, obviously, Dan, we're at the stage now where the World Cup is dwindling towards its conclusion. Got a week, I'm just looking at 9 days or so till the final. Yeah. We're at a point where soon there will only be 4 teams left by the end of this weekend. It's been relatively quiet on the Liverpool front. Doesn't mean they're not doing nothing, because they signed Victor Munoz out of nowhere. So I'm sure there's conversation. They tried to sign Yann Diomande. They've clearly been doing the work. It's been a very quiet week in terms of like substantial news around Liverpool, both ins and outs really. It's all been tangential stuff. I wonder if we're getting to a point maybe this week or next, before the US tour, will Liverpool do the side? Like, is now the time? We know Areola's in the action now, he's in situ, Richard Hughes is there with him. And I know this sounds really basic, but like, that helps. Like, it does help that they're all together. They can have these proper conversations. I wonder now if we do start getting more ins and potentially outs as well over the next maybe week or so.
I would have thought so. I certainly hope that's the case, because as we've kind of already said, Liverpool have got a hell of a lot of work still to do in this transfer window across the course of the summer. So yeah, I think Liverpool will sort of put their foot down a little bit more in terms of what's possible in the next couple of weeks. You mentioned some of the reasons as to why there. I think you're spot on, but we kind of all, myself included, got sucked into what was possible this summer by the Victor Munoz deal, which came out of nowhere. Like, not 24 hours earlier, we were sort of considering the fact, and we heard the fact that Liverpool might be quiet and just keep a watching brief whilst the World Cup unfolds. Then all of a sudden Victor Munoz was getting unveiled. Well, okay, well maybe not. And then literally it felt like the next morning we were bidding 100 million for Yann Diomande. So I was like, wow, okay, Liverpool are at it. Liverpool mean business from the get-go here. Obviously, since that transpired, that wasn't likely to happen, it's all kind of slowed up and calmed down, and Liverpool has sort of returned to, let's just see how things pan out. But as you say, I'm imagining now Liverpool will start to do business again and start to be active again, because there's just so much that needs to happen between now and the season.
The Diomande stuff for me anyway, I thought as it got on, that the more the price got higher, I didn't see it happening for us, because we've got so much to do. If we didn't have so much to do, I could see us spending that money. I can't see us blamming a load of money like we did on his second verse.
Well, the Barker if he's going to get too rich for our blood, the reports coming out of France would suggest that Barkley might already be at that point.
Yeah.
It depends what that number is, wasn't it? Because they bid for Diamande, so they were interested. But you're right. It depends where these fees get to.
Well, 3 days ago they were saying he was going to cost €150, and then yesterday it was €90 million. So you don't know, do you?
Take it all with a pinch of salt. That's the one. There might be certain players at the World Cup and the more like nothing happens, it's more I think there's someone at the World Cup they're waiting for, and it might be Barkley, it could have been Bouaddi, it could be whatever. But it feels like to me like the fact that nothing's happening now, it's either someone who hasn't got a release clause, someone who's at the World Cup, or the skint. And I don't believe it's that.
I think they took a bit of a knock with the Diamande thing, because it was pretty apparent. Like Liverpool outlined the fact that he was the chosen one by bidding for him in the first place, and now the way that panned out, and obviously as things stand, it's definitely not going to happen. We probably did kind of go, oh, right, okay, we need to reassess what we're doing here, because we've discussed it to the length and breadth of the conversation, but like there isn't an obvious candidate. Bradley Barkley is the closest you get, but I personally believe that has drawbacks and pros and cons to it, really. And Liverpool probably think the same. So they've had to go, wow, and sort of take stock of the situation, which has probably led to this little spell of inactivity. But I do believe it will ramp up a gear or two.
Yeah, so fingers crossed it does just that. Yeah, thanks very much for coming in, mate, Dan. Thanks very much for joining us. Thanks all you guys for watching or listening to the Liverpool Transfer Podcast. We'll be back with one next Friday. Will Liverpool have signed someone by then? Who knows? We'll find out together. See you all then.